This week in wrestling history, the late great Brodie Lee, 1 year ago this week, defeated Cody Rhodes in a squash match to become the second ever TNT champion. And Brodie Lee, the immortal one, the Exalted one, who is now the immortal one. That's what I refer to him as. He had a very interesting ride to that moment, and I just kind of want to talk about that, the time leading up to that moment. On March 18, 2020, on the episode of Dynamite, Brodie Lee appeared as the Exalted One, readopting his name as Brodie Lee. He shed the skin of the one-time Luke Harper and became the leader, the villainous leader, the cult leader that someone was not allowed to be in WWE. And he showed his chops on the mic, and they built him up as this huge monster. He had that great match with Jon Moxley at Double or Nothing 2020, and he went on a little bit of a winning streak. And then finally, on the August 22nd edition of AEW Dynamite, in front of a crowd, a small crowd, but a crowd nonetheless, Brodie Lee quickly and very decisively defeated Cody to become the second ever TNT champion. And after the match, Brodie Lee laid out Cody's allies in QT Marshall, Dustin Rhodes, and Brandi Rhodes with the help of the Dark Order, and he stood tall, holding that brand new TNT title very high above his head, laying claim to the land that Cody Rhodes built and of All Elite Wrestling. And it really was the best work of Brodie's career. It was the best work of his life. And the sad part is, we were shown so late in the game, so late in his life, how great he could be, and it was like it's sad that he'll never do anything in front of like an AEW audience now. But looking back at that moment and just how hot he was and how great he was and the work he was doing, this thing could have gone anywhere, and the fact that it's been a year since that happened, it's kind of mind-boggling because
It is.
it still feels like yesterday, and it's still hard to believe that he's gone. But it just goes to show you, I think Brodie Lee is the quintessential example of when you let someone truly be themselves, and you let a wrestler who has been doing it for a very long time, do what they do, they will succeed, and they can succeed. And he did that because he was Luke Harper. He was the mid-carder for a long time, and then he comes to AEW, and he does what he does. And and here's the thing: anyone who saw him as Luke Harper would have never expected that. They would have never expected to see what they saw out of him. And the way he was booked was perfect. The way he played his character, his promos, I cannot emphasize this enough. His promos were so great. And it, again, it's just hard to believe it was a year ago today. But yeah.
Such a worker, man. Such a worker. Like it just goes to show you, with a change of scenery in something that makes you happy, what you can do. And that's what it was. Brodie Lee was like he was the quintessential big guy with a little something else, a little something extra, and that something extra was amazing when he tapped into it. Just to see that mind switch when he was on that mic, when he was in that ring, was absolutely incredible. It's a shame. It really is a shame. I mean, life happens, unfortunately. There's nothing we can do about it. But anyone that did not get a chance to see him in his glory, which was when he was AEW, and some of his early work as well. If you saw him at WWE, you didn't see Brodie Lee.
You saw glimpses of him, but you never saw the full package. Like,
no.
I was always looking forward to that third match, that rubber match between him and Cody, because they did the squash match with him and Cody where Lee won, and then I think a month or two later they did
the strap match,
the strap match, the old strap match or the dog collar chain match.
Dog collar chain. That's what it was.
Dog collar chain match. And that was belter of a match, and then then Lee ended up getting diagnosed with his illness, and what happened. But man, that would have been a great match. But hey, I mean, the good thing is that we can look back and appreciate him for while he was here, and
Yeah,
that's what we need to do. We can, of course, it's natural to think about what could have been, but it's also, I think, important
what
to
he
think
did.
about what was or exactly right, and appreciate that because it was great, and I think we need to be able to look back at those moments and then moments like this that were so that this was it was the high point of his career, winning this title at this stage, and the way that he did it, and we need to be able to back at that and look at it fondly, and not be sad about it as hard as
Right.
that is, because there's a lot of things to be sad about. We like because we forget like like we think of only in wrestling terms sometimes, and like that's fine, but it's a wrestling show. But if like we were talking about like who really needs to be sad, like it's his family.
Yeah.
We can be sad about like the fact that we didn't get a match or whatever, but that's nothing compared to what the Huber family lost. And so if you want to honor Brodie Lee's memory, remember him.
Yep.
Remember him for the
Definitely.
badass character that he played in AEW. Remember him for the badass character, regardless of the booking, he played in WWE and the great matches he had. He was a great worker. Every single match he had got over. 2017 Luke Harper, by the way, that lead up to Mania,
Yeah.
legitimately, that like don't understand how they didn't go with him. In a match against Bray Wyatt for the WWE title, don't get that. It was a ready-made
Because I
feud.
thought it was something that they were pushing anyway.
It
That
was
Bray
over.
and Brody were pushing for
Yeah,
that
but
match.
but Randy Orton won the Rumble, so didn't make sense. I mean, and look, he beat AJ Styles to become the number one contender. It didn't make sense. I don't know, but Brodie Lee, great wrestler, great talker, great everything. Thanks for watching this video from Real Take Sports Talk. Remember to like, share, subscribe, hit that notification bell so you get notified whenever a new video is released. Also, remember to check out our live show every single Thursday at 8 p.m. right here on the YouTube channel. And remember, keep it real.